You've heard a lot of people talk about the Anunnaki coming to Earth to mine our gold and creating human beings, right? And the common narrative that's like most popular is that of Enki and Enlil, the two half-brothers, the two Anunnaki prince, sons of Anu, that were always in competition for who was the rightful heir of succession. Long story short, this is what everyone thinks, that these guys came to Earth, first Enki, then Enlil, and that's basically the story that is more commonly known. But it wasn't either Enki or Enlil or Anu to be the first here on Earth. The merit goes all to King Alalu. Alalu that was dethroned by Anu on Nibiru and afraid of being executed. He literally put himself in exile, jumps into a spacecraft, heads towards the hammered bracelet, shoots missiles to get through it, passes all of the planets of our solar system, and gets to Earth. If you want to catch up in more detail, all of these episodes are in this playlist. I just summed it up really, really briefly. Alalu has now landed on Earth. He couldn't believe it. He didn't know whether to land on ground or in the water. Either way, he risked his existence. But he lands, and after the initial shock, he is now on the ground. And this is where we're going to pick up the story. Alalu opened his eyes and realized that he was still alive and made it to the planet of gold. So here is what we know about the gold. It talks about the beginning of time and how the gods in the skies made the world. But they were never really gods. These are extraterrestrials. And in case you think God of the Bible or of any other religion is the real God, etc., every religion stems from the Sumerian scriptures. So this is the original story. And you'll see that these were never the real gods that created the universe, the worlds, the planets. These are just advanced extraterrestrials that came to Earth, then genetically modified bipedal hominoids that were on this planet to be able to enslave them to do their work for them. And that would be Homo sapien. Hence the big leap that we have from being this hominid, ape-like creature to all of a sudden gorgeous, beautiful, hairless Homo sapiens with a brain that could understand. Between the two links, there is at least 1 million years of evolution that is missing. 1 million, yes. So let's get back to the story. So the expeditions from Nibiru were dispatched to Earth to acquire gold. And it all started with Alalu's flight from Nibiru. And I have to say, I really feel bad for Alalu. Even though he took the throne from King Lamu, who was his predecessor, in not a nice way. He basically usurped the throne, but at the same time, he was technically more of the legal heir than Lamu ever could have been, because Lamu was adopted and was not of the bloodline of the original Anu. Alalu infused much of what he had learned with extraordinary insight. His forefather, Anshargal, gathered excellent knowledge about the heavens and the circuits. Anshar significantly improved their knowledge. Alalu learned a lot from him. He always talked with intelligent men. Savants and commanders gave him guidance to him. Alalu had this knowledge because he had studied about the beginning. The gold on the hammered bracelet served as a confirmation. The gold in Tiamat's hammered bracelet was the indicator. Alalu triumphantly landed on the planet of gold. He used a beacon to scan the surroundings. His chariot landed on the edge of a large marsh. He changed into a fish suit and an eagle helmet. And when they say fish suit and eagle helmet, we're talking about like Navy SEAL attire. And the eagle helmet are like pilot helmets. And this is all advanced technology far beyond, thousands of years beyond what we have now on Earth. He then unlocked the chariot's hatch, pausing to consider that the heavens were white and blue, the sky, and the higher above heavens was all dark and black. And that's when he's talking about the spacecraft voyage, like when you're in outer space. On Earth, there was silence and no one to greet him. He stood alone in this strange world, perhaps exiled from Nibiru forever. He lowered himself to the ground and walked on the dark-colored Earth. Now just put yourself in his shoes. He is on a foreign planet that they have never been to. They don't know if there's a civilization here that would attack. That's why he says there was no one there to greet him. Meaning if it was a space-fearing population or culture, they would have scanned that he was arriving in the sky. So this is how he understood that it was kind of a primitive planet. He could see hills in the distance, and there were many forests nearby. He stepped into one of the wetlands in front of him, and he trembled as he felt the cold and chill of the marsh water surrounding him. Then he returned to solid ground, and he was in this unfamiliar world, meaning everything on Earth is very different than planet Nibiru. And he could not stop obsessively thinking about these things. Now he's going around planet Earth and he's collecting water to drink and food. He's looking for fruits and anything that grows naturally that he could actually eat and ingest. And in the next episode, we'll continue with Alalu's discovery